Hey, you guys. Great morning. Hold on. Let me put on my do not disturb. All right, all right. Come on in. Come on in. Where you guys at? Come on in. Listen, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Come on in. Normally I would be sharing, but I forgot to pull out my iPad, y'all. Listen, I just am slipping a little bit. Just bear with me, bear with me. All this travel, honey, all this travel. Hey, you guys, let me know who's here and where you're tuning in from. Let me know who's here and where you are tuning in from. Hey, Jessica, good morning, gorgeous. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good to see you. Good to see you. You also listen. As y'all are coming in, I'm going to go ahead and get started. God has really been dealing with me a lot concerning healing for about the past year and a half. It's been a big deal to me. It's been something I've been very focused on. Hey, Jackie in Alabama, good to see you. Hey, Ashley, you enjoy your birthday, girl. You look like you was trying to turn up a little bit. Listen, so I've been dealing with healing. Listen, before I go any further, you guys go ahead and share this video. Go ahead and share the video. Share the video. Let me know when you share the video. I'm gonna pause for just a second and let you guys share. Let you guys share. I know there's somebody on your timeline who needs this word that I'm about to give. And if you care about them, you'll share it. Girl, I know that's right. Come on, the grown woman turn up. That's amazing, amazing, amazing. So while y'all sharing, y'all listen. Do y'all see this bed? Y'all see this? Isn't that luxurious? Oh my God. Like I so love this bed. This whole bedroom set is like everything, y'all. I'm talking about blah blah. And y'all know blue is my color, right? Baby, I said, what? What? What is going on? Listen, I'm talking about the puff dresser, everything. I feel like it's room for my clothes in here. Listen, and this is important because I want you all to understand something. The journey that I'm on is just that it's a healing journey. It's a healing journey. Um, and this started after I left my marriage. After I left my marriage, this started this whole journey. Well, it started before, but it really intensified um, after I left my husband. And because, listen, what I knew was I had to change something that I was doing. Something had to change. Something had to change. Something had to change in me. Something had to change in my circumstances. Something had to change. I just refused to leave another marriage, get divorced again, and go back into the same cycle of life all over again. So I knew I had to do a deep dive in me, a deep dive in who I am, what I want, what my purpose is, what my mission is. Like I had to figure that out. No one could tell me that. That was something that I had to figure out. And on the journey, I discovered holes in my heart, holes in my life, places where things would just fall through the cracks. So this journey of healing has been huge because what it's done is it's forced me to look at me. Okay. I had to look at me. I couldn't look to the left. I couldn't look to the right. Like I had to look at me head on and say, okay, come on, let's get real with one another. A friend of mine, the man of God, Pastor John Michael Massey, posted yesterday about really looking at yourself and seeing yourself. If you guys don't follow him, okay? John Michael Massey, amazing man of God, so much wisdom. He's got a book that's going to be coming out soon. But he was talking about just the importance of looking at yourself and being honest with yourself and getting real with yourself. Well, the reality is when we really get real with ourselves, and I believe the pandemic made us have to get real about some things in our lives. I remember spending a lot of time working. I am definitely what would have been considered a workaholic. So the way I move now baffles people because I'm not running. I made a conscious decision that I was going to live life purposefully. Purposefully, I was going to slow down, but not slow down, if you understand what I'm saying. I took some time to slow down to get to know me, my mission, my purpose, my destiny, what God has for me. And I can't get to that until I deal with me. See, we want to deal with everybody else, but will you deal with you? Hey, Auntie, I miss you. Auntie, you know my cousin called me last night. Tank called me. He must miss me. My auntie and my daddy out here. Y'all better stop playing with me. Okay, I'm finna turn up for real because my auntie and my daddy out here, y'all. The powerhouses, Wonder Twins activate. Oh, it's finna be on for real. So y'all just need to know that, okay? So as I began to look at me and understand that there were some things that I was going to have to face, and there were going to be some things that I had to figure out. Hey, sissy. So in doing that, I began to read. God began to take me on a journey and show me different things. Y'all stay tuned because, baby, this thing that God is showing me, what He's showing me, and what He's putting together is going to be life altering for a lot of people. So, this journey is not even just about me. It's about me, but it's about me learning how to heal so that I can share that with other people. But it's time to heal. Y'all, listen, you don't have time to hold on to the stuff of the past. You don't have time to hold on to disappointment. You don't have time to hold on to bad memories and hold on to anger, resentment, bitterness, jealousy, envy. You don't have time to hold on to what your parents didn't do, what your husband or wife didn't do, what your friends didn't do, what your siblings didn't do. You don't have time to hold on to that stuff. It's time to let that stuff go so that you can heal. So I've been reading some books, right? There's some books that I've been reading that really resonated with my spirit because I'm a firm believer that um first the natural, then the spirit, right? Natural spirit, right? So a lot of times when we talk about things like generational curses, we don't understand that there is literally a physiological genetic component to generational curses. It is not just spiritual. There is a spiritual component, but it's not just spiritual. It literally ends up in our DNA. And that is why you see patterns repeated in family. It's not like, oh, you just pray and you cancel the generational curse. No, you pray, you cancel the generational curse, you discover where the curse started, and you do the work to change the narrative, to change the life, your life first, and then the lives of those around you. So I'm reading a book called It Didn't Start With Me. Or it didn't start with you. It didn't start with you. And the premise of this book is something that I firmly believe in, and that is that traumas get passed down generationally in the DNA. Physical traumas, emotional traumas, spiritual traumas, trauma gets passed down. It begins to change the actual DNA that exists in your body. Listen, not only that, it's in the DNA, but your body keeps score. Your body literally keeps score of the traumas that you're experiencing and when they're reactivated. So things can happen that reactivate it, and you're like, well, I wonder why I'm sick. Chronic illnesses, PTSD, anxiety, um, um, all of these things that affect our body can be traced back to some other things. It's not just that, oh, high blood pressure runs in our family. No, eating in ways that support high blood pressure runs in our family. Being overwhelmed and stressed runs in our family. Certain narratives run in our family. And that is why you see narratives repeated over and over again throughout families, whether you know your family or not. So the thing is, like, though I just met my daddy this year, our lives have been very parallel. We've gone through some similar things, experienced some of the same emotions, right? And so that I didn't know him. He didn't know me. It wasn't that I was raised in the house with him and I saw his emotions. No, no, no. He had his experience. I had my experience, but they were parallel. And this is why I tell people it's so important that you have conversations with your parents, honest conversations about things that they went through, things that they experienced, because what you will discover is some of the same things you experienced, they experienced. Now you mad at them. Okay. You mad at them for what they did or did not do in your life. But the truth of the matter is they went through the same stuff. So you're expecting something from them that they don't have the capacity to give you. When you understand and accept the fact that people can give you what they can give you at the time that they can give it to you. And then, yes, people evolve, people change, and then they have a greater capacity, or they may have a greater understanding, or they have a greater maturity. I don't know why we think that teen parents are supposed to be able to know all the right things to do. Freaking, they're teenagers. Like, they literally are teenagers. And so when you as an adult child look at your parents and you're like, well, you didn't do this and you didn't do that. Well, baby, I'm gonna need you to show some grace, because I promise you, if you have children, when you have children, one day your children are going to be having some conversations with you about choices that you made, things that you did, things that they wanted and needed that they didn't necessarily have. And it's not always just these super traumatic things, right? It can be small things, but there are going to be some things that just didn't go well for them in their life, and they feel like it's your fault. Now, listen, I get it. I get that, we have things that we wanted, we needed, and we desired from our parents, but it passed. Just past. Just past. Know it, recognize it, identify it, face it, and then fix it. You can't fix it with the parent that you had back then, right? Because now they're another person. But what you can do is begin to have conversations and dialogue. I didn't say point your finger in their face and get it snapped off. I said have conversations and dialogue. Try to gain an understanding of why they did what they did, why they made the choices that they made. It's interesting to me, as I found my daddy, I also found out some additional things surrounding my birth, right? And so I found out that my grandfather put my mama out when she ended up pregnant. Now, my daddy, my biological daddy, did not know I existed, did not know that my mama was pregnant. She never told him. It wasn't a thing of she told him and he abdicated his responsibility. The man didn't know, had no clue. And his pullout game was weak. No, he didn't have no pullout game. I'm sorry, daddy. I had to, anyway. I love you, daddy. So, so my mom ended up going through a lot of this alone, isolated from her parents. My granddaddy, listen, I love my granddaddy. That was my daddy. Um, but he was really upset about that. He was upset about her being pregnant. Um, and it meant that she had to leave the house. And when it got close to time for her to have me, he allowed her to come back home. But he allowed her to come back home because they were going to take me. And that's what they did. They literally took me. My mama could go where she wanted to go. She could go do what she wanted to do. But what she was not going to do was take me with her. And so I'm looking at her like, well, why is it that you raised my siblings, but you didn't raise me? Well, the truth of the matter is she couldn't raise me. My grandparents were not getting ready to let her take me. You get married to go where you want to go, but you're not taking this baby. And honestly, if I'm being honest, they probably did the best thing that they could have for me to break cycles, right? Because it put me in a position where I didn't go through some of the traumas that my siblings went through. They saw some stuff I didn't see. They went through some things that I didn't go through. And so it's almost like God kind of shielded me and protected me, had me in, as my daddy would like to say, a cocoon, right? In order to allow me to be the one who would go and break a lot of curses. Now, that doesn't mean that my siblings haven't broken their own curses. It doesn't mean that. It just means that I was the one that, he set to, want to know more. Like, I was the one that wanted to travel. I was the one that wanted to see new places. I wasn't scared of new places. Like, I wanted to go to the city, and I had a lot of opportunities to do some traveling. All of this, though, was designed so that I could get a blueprint. There's a blueprint that God is laying out for me, a blueprint that involves both the physical, emotional, and spiritual, financial, okay? Um, physical, financial, spiritual, um, financial, and emotional healing process. See, I believe firmly that there are five key areas of our life that we've got to figure out, right? We got to figure them out. And whether you are Christian or whether you are something else, regardless, your spirituality is important, right? Your spirituality is important because it allows you to connect with something bigger than you. The world doesn't stop with you. You've got to figure that out, what that means for you. Now, one thing that I am not going to do, though I'm a pastor, prophet, evangelist, teacher, um, apostle. I'm not trying to make you believe what I believe because I'm a firm believer that your beliefs are only as strong as your journey to those beliefs. Yeah, we tell our kids, we take them to church, we teach them whatever, whatever. But at the end of the day, there comes a time when they have to make decisions. You have had to make decisions about what you believe, about the direction you're going to go, because it requires a personal relationship. And so healing is a personal thing. It's something that my daddy can't heal for me. My daddy can heal for him. He can show me a blueprint of what healing looks like, and then I can take my own journey. No one can take the healing journey for you. You got to take it for yourself. But it is time to freaking heal. It's time to heal. It's time to break these curses and these patterns. And one of the things that y'all listen, we got to deal with this, okay? True healing is going to require exposure. There are things that have to be exposed. The only way that you can heal is there's some things that got to come up. There's some things that have to be revealed. There's some conversations that have to be had. And we come, like, I feel like our generation is the generation that began the telling, the really exploring. Because like our parents' generation, no, baby, when they said what happens in the house stays in the house, that stuff was real, okay? Because you would get a beat down, beat down. Now, we would get beat, but we got to the point where we were like, listen, my healing is greater and more important than how family is going to look at me. Because I can remember literally writing my first public consumption book, right? Use your buckets, 12 life lessons for success. Okay. And these are lessons that I gained from my life, just my life experiences, 12 lessons. And I remember in one of the lessons, I talked about my aunt. And I talked about my aunt and how she used to say, you fast just like your mama. You gonna be just like your mama. And I remember my uncle read it and he was like, why would you put that in there? You shouldn't have put that in there. And I was like, what? But he felt like it was um exposing my mama or making my mama look a certain way. My mama was fast. She was. I was fast. I was kind of still am, but just a little bit. But um that's real. That's real. And I bet if we begin to trace it back, it's some more people in my family that was fast. Well, guess what? Fastness didn't just occur on my mama's side, it was on my daddy's side. And you got to remember that the stories that are told, the stories that are told are normally not even the full story. You getting a part of it from someone's perspective, right? But when we began to piece the stories together, and this is why I'm so grateful for my journey with my daddy and my family on my daddy's side, because it's allowed me to piece some things together that help me make sense. You see, I'm not the only one who's had the story of, I really just want to be loved. It wasn't even about being fast. It wasn't about pimping. It was about looking for love, looking for someone who would love you unconditionally, someone who would really, genuinely, wholly love you, but also understanding that that quest for that was rooted for things that we were missing from our parents. And it's cyclical. Okay. That means that it goes in a cycle. So when I look back, my mama was looking for love. My daddy was looking for love. And when I take it back even further, my grandmama on my daddy's side was looking for love. My granddaddy on my daddy's side, I think he was looking for love, but he looked for love in a lot of tail. Okay. When I take it back another step, you see what I'm saying? My grandmother on my daddy's side, mother, was looking for love. So when you see a pattern of multiple marriages, people think that it's that people don't want to make a commitment, but very often it is rooted in a desire for love and a feeling that you're never going to find it, a fear that you're never going to find it. When something shows up that looks like love, it doesn't even have to be love, but it looks like love. You grab hold to that and you try to hold on to that because you're like, well, maybe this is it, right? But it requires healing. See, when you understand that it didn't start with you, the challenges that you're facing, they didn't start with you, then you can say, okay, then what happened that allowed me to be in the place that I'm in so that I can understand why I'm where I am and what I go through? Let me figure that out so that then I can break it. Healing is required. And healing is not always an easy process and it's not always a quick process. So you've got to go through the process. And when people tell me, they don't know their daddy, but they don't care, it doesn't matter, they're good, lies. Stop lying to yourself. Well, me and my mom don't have a good relationship, but I don't care because, God placed somebody else. It's still a lie. You still want that relationship with your biological parent. You still want to understand why it was that you I have a friend who's adopted. He's like, I don't want to find my adoptive parents because my birth parents because I don't want to hurt my adopted parents. Y'all, listen. You will forever have pieces of you missing until you take the journey. Now, you may not find them, they may be already deceased, but you need to take the journey because the journey is a part of your healing. In the absence of that, and I want y'all to hear me clearly, in the absence of really understanding the dynamics between your parents, the dynamics between your grandparents, the dynamics between your great grandparents. You think that something is wrong with you. I literally thought, what in the whole hell is wrong with me? And why is it that I keep getting married, but it's not working? And not that I didn't work, because I did, I worked at it. But the truth is, I didn't know me enough to be able to give my heart to someone else. And I was too busy trying to protect my heart. See, this is where it gets real. This is where it gets real. When you start having those conversations and you find out what really happened back then, because there's a lot that happened. You got to remember, as African descended people in America, we went through lots of traumas, right? We were ripped from our families on another continent, in another country. We were brought over on ships in devastating and deplorable conditions. You wonder why there is pathology in the Black community. I don't know any group of people who could have gone through what we went through and been able to survive without there being some pathology there, without there being some dysfunction there. Planted in a system that's not our system, a culture that's not our culture, with a religion forced on us that was not our religion. And then we wonder why there is a psychosis that keeps showing up in the Black community. It is a product of how we were brought here. That is why we've got to understand that our existence was real before we were brought over on the ships. The ships altered our DNA. You know why? The body keeps score. You think that there are some things that happens in the Black community that our bodies have not carried on from slavery? Come on. When Black males were used to just produce babies, they were used to just have sex with women, to have baby after baby after baby that they had no connection to. And you think that that just disappears because someone signed a piece of paper? It does not. It doesn't. There are traumas that our bodies are still experiencing that are a result of you think that there's not going to be a certain amount of fear instilled in a people who knowing how to read cost them their life. So you think that there's some things that aren't going to cause them to back up? No, y'all, there's some things that have been in our DNA that we have to actively break through on the other side of. So while we spend a lot of time talking about how bad the Black community is, I'm gonna need us to spend some time talking about how trauma PTSD has been passed down genetically, that's created a level of anxiety that leads people to look for an escape. Look for escape. Now, one person escape is religion. So they're in church all the time. They're praying. They're always, it's very much focused on the spirit, the spirit, the spirit, the spirit, the spirit, the spirit, the spirit. Another person's escape is food. So we eat, 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 eat. We get fat, we get high blood pressure, we get diabetes, but it's all an escape mechanism. Another person's escape mechanism is sex. So you have sex and you're having sex and you're having sex because you're looking for something to quench something that you don't even understand why it's there. But it's an escape. It's an escape. Another person's escape is alcohol. You drink until you just can't feel anymore. You drink until it numbs your senses. You drink until you don't have to deal with it, or you're like, I'm not thinking about anything. It is still an escape. Another person's escape is drugs, but it's still escape. Another person's escape is education. I'm going to get all this education and get education and education and education and education. And I'm going to separate myself from those people. I'm not one of those people, but it's still an escape. Until we face our lives, our parents' lives, their parents' lives, we'll find ourselves continually and consistently running, which is why people spend 10, 20 years in therapy but never get healed. Baby, you don't just need another talk session. You need a healing process. And there's a difference between just talking through something and medicating yourself. And I'm not taking anything away from medicine. I am a firm believer that, listen, you need what you need to work through the process, because I clearly can remember times when I couldn't think. My mind was cloudy. It was foggy. I couldn't even see clearly. And so I didn't even have the emotional or psychological resources to be able to deal with what was going on around me. All I knew was that I was losing it. I was losing it. And then I began to trace things and discover that I'm not the only one in my family that's ever felt like they were losing it or lost it. Y'all, I really want you to understand how much I want you to heal. Because if nothing else, this journey has taught me to appreciate the process. Because it's in the process that I'm not only discovering me, who I am and why I am, but also my family, who they are and why they are. You know, when we talk about transatlantic slave trade, it's a thing in history books, but it's a thing that still shows up in our bodies. And we have to deal with the reality that we gotta do some stuff so that we can truly heal at the core of our being. The fact that we survived is incredible. Do you know how many peoples that white people tried to put into slavery that did not make it? They were not able to sustain. Listen, they tried white people that they brought over. They tried Native Americans. They tried anybody else that they could. Asians, Chinese people. Nobody was as resilient as African descended people. So unapologetically, I am African. I am African descendant and I reside in America. But no, I'm not just American. America didn't make me. It's not even the greatest part of me, my heritage, or my legacy. My greatest part is on the continent, which I've never stepped foot on. It's with the people that I've never really met. But that is where my strength comes from. You see, when you descend from kings and queens and royalty, when you descend from warriors, you move differently. I know I come from tribes of warriors. You know how I know? Because I'm a fight. I'm a fight systemic racism. I'm going to fight, you know, in a relationship for the relationship. I'm going to fight for my sanity. I'm going to fight for emotional wholeness. I'm going to fight for healing. I'm going to fight for my children. I'm going to fight for my life. I'm going to fight for my God. I'm going to fight. So excuse me if I have a problem with jellyback people that won't fight for anything. See, because if you won't fight for anything, you'll fall for anything. And that means that you'll do anything. I can't trust you. We're not the same. We're not built the same. We're not wired the same. And that's why in this season of my life, I'm very particular. I'm particular about who I spend my time with. I'm particular about where I go. I'm particular about where I lay my head. Not particular in that I'm bougie, although I'm a little bougetto. I am, absolutely. But I'm particular in the energy that I reside in. So your energy whack, I'm good on you. And it doesn't matter who you are. You can be my blood family. But if your energy is whack, I'm not dealing with it. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna say, but I'm not trying to be up under you. Okay? Because we're not built the same. And if nothing else, I think this is my challenge a lot of times with people in the church. It's a lot of simp, weak, jellyback people that hide behind religion. And I have no tolerance for it. Like it irks me to my core. You know, I'm troubled by it. It distresses me. It vexes my spirit. It causes something to rise up in me that's like, oh, you is weak. And that's why on this journey, I'm less concerned about church than I am about relationship and teaching people how to have a personal relationship with God. See, when you got a personal relationship with God, listen, baby, you move differently. When you got a personal relationship with God, what people think and say about you, it hits differently. You know, I finally have gotten to the place where I'm like, you can think what you want to think about me. Like, that's your business, that's your prerogative. But what I know is, I know God and God knows me, and Satan and all of his imps know me too. And they get nervous. They get nervous every day I wake up. When I open my eyes, she done woke up again. Yeah. And I came to wreak havoc on the kingdom of darkness, on ignorance, on spiritual bondage. I came to wreak havoc. I came to wreak havoc because somebody got to do it. Why not me? When you get to the point where you understand what your purpose is and your mission is, you move different. Listen, absolutely, I'm a prophet, but baby, you better understand the kind of prophet that you get with me. Okay, I'm not wired like some other prophets. I'm just not. Okay, everybody that says they're a prophet is not a prophet of God. Okay, I need y'all to understand that. So just because someone says that they're a prophet doesn't mean they're a prophet of God. Just because they can see doesn't mean they're seeing through the lens of God. It just means that they have access to the gift. The gift is the gift, and the gift comes without repentance. Okay? The gift is the gift, and it comes without repentance. But it is how we use the gift that matters. When you use the gift for good, it may not come in the package that people think it should come in. But when you use the gift for good, it serves its purpose because we're called to different people. At the end of the day, I am a healer. Yes, I'm a warrior, but I'm also a healer. That means that I'll cut you and then I'll pray for you and bandage it up. Now, I ain't gonna bandage it. But it's time. It's time to heal. And I don't think it's an accident. I need y'all to hear me. That God told me to come visit the Wiggins. Now, we've known each other for years, probably about 8 years. We've been connected for about 8 years. Who would have known that I would end up with the same last name? Who would have known that? And I'm sure we're connected, we're related somehow, right? We don't know how it is, but I'm sure we are because Wiggins is not like a common, ordinary name, okay? But when I pulled up to the gatehouse and had to give them my ID to get in the gate, I said, okay, then. And when I pulled up and I'm seeing lions everywhere, I'm like, Okay, then. And it looks like I'm at a resort. I said, yeah, this is what I'm talking about right here. This is my kind of living, right? When I walked in the room that they set up for me, and if you haven't seen the picture of the room, you go look at the picture of the room because maybe they had this thing set up like I was at a hotel, a 5-star hotel, top of the line, right? And on the dresser, I'm gonna show y'all what was on the dresser. Hold on. Was this lion looking at me regally? August birthday that I have, Leo that I have, Lion of Judah. You understand? I said, wow, God. See, sometimes God got to remind you, I see you. I see you, lion that you are. Be a lion. 4, establish your birthright. Rule. See, the lion don't talk no whole lot of noise. The lion walk through and everything moves. Walk through, everything gets out the way. Why? The king has shown up. It's not an accident. God is simply reminding me of the battle that is yet ahead of me and that I've been equipped for it. Now, what's the battle, you may say? The battle is to help people heal, to wage war on the enemy and the kingdom of darkness, to wage war on poverty and being overweight, which means that I get to start with me. Why? Because I'm freaking overweight right now. All of this thickness, okay? Got to do something different. So God says, okay, this is your reminder. It's wartime, baby. What you gonna do? So when the lion is awakened and I got to get up, I get up. Listen, it's time to heal, y'all. It's time to release the stuff of the past, the stuff that's weighed you down, the stuff that has kept you in bondage, the stuff that has made you feel like that you're not good enough or you're not equipped. Like y'all, listen, it's time to get rid of that stuff. It's time to release it so that you can finally see clearly and begin to move forward. Well, how do you do that? Well, literally on Sunday. On Sunday, and God did this yesterday. Y'all, when I tell y'all stuff, y'all, I don't be making stuff up. Like literally, God be doing stuff. And I'm like, what? So on Sunday, we're doing the release workshop. Hold on, let me put it up here. It's Sunday from 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to about 8:30. Now, listen, it's a hands-on workshop. It's online, so you don't have any excuses. You ain't got to leave your house, but you do need to be camera ready. You need to be able to be on camera. It is only $50, y'all. It's only $50. And what's going to happen is you're going to identify the things that you need to release. And you're going to also, after you identify the things you need to release, we're going to use tactics and strategies to release them. This is not just a place where you're going to get information. We're going to go through the process together. You don't have to do it by yourself. You don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it and think that, oh, when I do this, I'm going to be by myself. No one understands. No, 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 no. And Afterpay is available so you can literally do it and pay for it in 4 installments. Come on now. Y'all, that's less than $15 every 2 weeks to pay for something that's going to set you up to fully move forward in your life and your destiny. Now, I am a firm believer that destiny is ours, but it also requires our active participation. Let me get this up here. Bam. Requires our active participation. Requires our active participation. So if you put that link in just like that, it's got to be just like that, bit.ly/DRV release, all lowercase, all together. You'll get the link to register for it. I'm going to tell y'all this. This will change your life. I say it with all confidence. If you do the work, this will change your life. You're going to see what it's, and y'all, let me say this. This is how serious my healing anointing is. There is a gentleman in Africa. And I don't know if you guys saw it, but there's a gentleman in Africa, and he had been sick, and he had gone to all these doctors and they couldn't figure out what was going on. And this is what he said. He said, I've been sick. I'd gone to all these doctors. He said, but something changed when I started watching your lives. He said, now I'm not sick anymore. They don't know why. They don't know what happened. He said, but I know what happened. I started watching you and I got healed. Listen, we think that we got to physically touch people. We don't. We don't. But what we do have to do is begin to help people identify with God in them. See, when you identify that God is in you, sickness can't stay. Sickness got to go. It's where you, what you, well, no, come on, God. You activate the God in you, baby. Stuff got to move. Stuff got to change. Stuff has to shift. It has to. Last night, parking is limited, right? So because I'm an extra car, parking is limited. And so we were getting ready to go get something to eat. And Lily said, well, you sure you want to move? You think you're going to be able to find parking? Oh no, there's going to be parking. There's going to be parking when we get back. There's a space that will be set for me. Yeah, no, we're going to have a space. No, it'll be there. We got back. It was 2 spaces available. Do you understand? And the space that we ended up in was better than the space that I parked in originally. God is waiting for us to really understand who we are. When you understand who you are, you just move differently. So, y'all need to register for this workshop. Bring a friend, bring a family member, bring a business partner, bring somebody with you. Do it together, heal together, mend together, release together. This is life changing. This Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you need to be in the space, in the place, online. Register now. Register now. Don't miss it. Okay? If you can register for less than $15, why are you not registering to change your life? Because it's necessary. Now, not only that, this is important, but also the end of July, July 28th through the 30th, in Columbia, South Carolina, we're doing the Healing Daddy Wounds workshop for daughters. Okay. This is for the women. This is for the girls. Listen, you're going to want to be there, because if you think that what you get with this release workshop that's online is powerful, oh, baby, what goes down in the Healing Daddy Wounds workshop, a retreat, is going to change your life. Okay. We've got these wounds. And if we don't address them, we're going to keep putting band-aids on it. It'll scab over and it'll look like it's okay until something pierces it. Something reminds us of it. Something happens that triggers something. And then we'll be right back where we were. Okay. So make sure you register. It, oh God. Y'all know I be mad at him sometimes, right? Mm. And so after this Sunday at midnight, it's going to continue to be $350. He be messing with my money, and I don't always like that. Okay. Until after Sunday at midnight, it's going to be $350. You all listen. The greatest investment that you can make in yourself is healing, and let me tell you why. Once you begin to heal wounds, then you can do things, see things more clearly, and then you'll be able to tap into the wealth that is already yours. Wealth is yours, it's your portion, and it's your birthright. And you have a right to experience it, but you're not going to experience it to the full extent until you do some healing. And if you do get some of it, you're going to be much more likely to mess it up. You all, I'm super excited about everything that's going on. I'm super excited about my journey in my life. I'm super excited. And I'm excited about everything that God is doing and how he's moving. I don't want you to miss a thing. I don't want you to miss a thing. Do you hear me? I want you to be able to take full advantage of everything that God is doing in your life and doing for you to be able to experience. Listen, there's so much more that God has in store for you. Now, listen, I pray this word blessed you. I pray that you were inspired by it. And if it inspired you to sow a seed, know that you're sowing in good ground. And I promise you, the return is very much worth the initial investment and the seed sown. And it is happening very quickly for people, So you can go to Cash App $DRV Walters or PayPal.me/DRV Walters. If you can attend the healing retreat, not the healing retreat, but the release workshop, sow a seed for someone else. Sow a seed for someone else. Purchase it for someone else. And what I'll do is I'll make it available to people who need it, but maybe can't afford it. You all listen, life is too great and too grand for us not to just appreciate and value every bit of it all day, every day. I'm getting ready to go through a transformation today. So when y'all see me again, I'm going to look different. I don't know what all I'm going to do, but your girl is up to something. And get ready, get ready, get ready, because it's happening and it's happening now. This former caterpillar is about to break full out as a full-blown, multicolor, fabulous, beautiful butterfly that I've always been. But now she's getting ready to flitter, 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 fly, fly. Look, you guys, I absolutely love you guys to life and life more abundant. Have an amazing, incredible, and epic day. Why? Because you deserve it and it's your birthright. Be blessed.